Joining us today on IG Live, Facebook Live, wherever you're streaming from. We're here today to talk about Bent But Not Broken, the conference, and the movement. And today we're joined by Josh Palkey and Maria A. Ellis, aka Girl Conductor. Plus, of course, our founding father, the one, the only, the visionary behind this whole movement, Ariane Harley Emerson. So, we're going to learn a little bit about the conference, about the people involved, about the movement, and why, of course, you should attend the conference. Let's kick it off with Ariane. Can you tell us a little bit about your vision, the conference, what makes it special in a nutshell?
Yes. Well, welcome everyone. I'm so thrilled to have Maestra Maria Ellis with us and Dr. Joshua Palkey with us. And thank you for hosting us, Liana, as well. So what is Bent But Not Broken? Bent But Not Broken is on the surface a conference, but Bent But Not Broken is really a movement. It's a movement where we are championing the music of Black choral musicians, composers, conductors, scholars, etc. It's really about this movement, though we do offer a conference additionally. And so that 4-day conference is held in Wilmington, Delaware. This year it's October 23rd through 26th, just around the corner. And what we do is we offer interest sessions that's all about music from the Black diaspora and Black scholarship in choral practice. We have sessions about taking an inward look at ourselves and our biases and how we can support this work. We have performances, and let me tell you, these performances are just throwdown performances. There's nothing else like it. I'm telling you, it is really amazing. And you all probably have heard that Maria was so inspired, she broke my tambourine a few years ago. We also have immersion choirs where folks come in and they get to sing. You get to sing music every single day from the Black diaspora. And every morning this year, you'll get to sing with Maria. She'll be leading all of our conference attendees and morning sessions with some great music that you can take back to your own choral communities. So intercessions, performances, morning sings, immersion choirs, and then of course, there's just the good old fun of it all. We have a good time. We like to work hard and play hard at this conference. And so we have good meals. We have some good tasty beverages. We dance. We're going to be dancing this year. We have a sneaker ball, which we'll talk about, I'm sure, later. So it's really a joyful time. It's an opportunity to be proximate to these scholars and conductors. There is no division. It's not them over there and us over here. We're all in it together. We're all here to learn. We're all here to champion this music. And we have these lifelong friendships that develop from this conference. So I invite you all.
That was the perfect summation of Bent But Not Broken. And I think the last point was probably my favorite thing about the conference, because we as music educators, we go to Chorus America, we go to ACDA, we go to our local, regional, national conferences, and they're all wonderful. But to me, there's something really special about Bent But Not Broken, and it's the proximity to all of your idols. You get to go and learn from these people in sessions, but then also go out with them to lunch or grab a coffee or party with them at the sneaker ball, which is happening this year. So, Maria, I heard that you are kind of taking charge of the sneaker ball as one of the many hats that you're wearing at this year's conference. Can you tell us all about this event and what is going to make it so special?
Yes, the sneaker ball. This is the first for a Bent But Not Broken, but it's going to be so much fun. So everybody, you need to bring your best sneakers. I mean, whether you got Chucks or Nikes, or whether you on the upper level, maybe you got some Gucci sneakers that you're going to bring out. You can bring best sneakers so you can come out and have a ball with us, dancing and celebrating outside of the Bent But Not Broken conference. This will be right after the Elevation concert. And it's going to be so much fun because normally when conferences, we have conferences and we have the lunches and things, but we don't have a chance to really let our hair down, if you will, and just dance. So bring your dancing shoes. Make sure you know all of the slides, the Cuban shuffle, the Mariah Carey slide. Make sure you got all of them down packed because we are going to have a ball dancing in our sneakers. In St. Louis, we call them tennis shoes. So wear your best tennis shoes and come on out and dance with us.
I have a little bit of an inside scoop because Maria was actually just in Miami working on a project and conducting with me and with the Miami Children's Chorus. And we went shopping, and I won't say what she found because there will be a grand reveal, but I will say it's going to be hard to beat Maria's shoe game at the sneaker ball because she found the perfect sneakers. They're literally Maria embodied in a sneaker. So have a little fun with it, you guys. Go out, find yourself a cute new pair of shoes, something that you feel good and confident and comfy in, and then put together your best fit and show up to the sneaker ball ready to party. Maria, can you also tell us a little bit about these morning sings? Do you want to drop a little nugget, a little seed for us about what you're going to be doing, what we're going to be learning, how we're going to be singing together?
I think the best thing about any type of conference is when we all get to sing together. There's something about singing with people who are like-minded. So this year for the morning sing, we have a plethora of options that'll be happening. We're going to do some gospel, but we're also going to do some hip hop, which I'm very, very excited about. So we got a hip hop song that we're going to sing, and we're going to do an original Maria A. Ellis piece. So it's going to be super fun. Make sure you get up and come to the morning sing. The great thing about these songs is, as Ariane said, you can take them right back to your classroom, take them right back to your school. So this is a get it and go type of thing. So you don't have to worry about bringing anything. Just bring your voice. Make sure you drink some tea or some water before you come. Bring your voice and be ready to sing and have a great time. My energy will be on level 10. So I am there to get you awake and to get you singing, and so we can have a good time to kick off every morning.
It's true. That really is the best part of the conference, besides getting to spend time with everyone and just the best people who are attending, getting to use our voices. I mean, this is the core of what we do as music educators, right? As musicians, we want to actually delve into the music, and Bump and Not Broken truly does offer such a wide range of opportunities for us to do that. So speaking of which, Dr. Palki, I'd love to ask you about your relationship. Now, this is the first time you and I are meeting, but you have a beautiful relationship with Ariane, with the organization, with the conference. Can you share a little bit about yourself, your background, and how you got involved with Bump and Not Broken?
Sure. Thank you so much for facilitating this conversation. I'm super excited. This is my first Bent but Not Broken. Living in the Western United States, I haven't been able to get there. So I'm so excited to be attending for the first time and to be able to be part of this panel. So I think that my work as an ally is just to learn as much as possible, right? And I think that this is such a unique platform because I do equity and justice work in several areas. And like we've talked about, conferences are great, but often conferences get so big that there isn't really a focus on one specific thing because there's so much happening and there's so many people. So I think this is such a beautiful opportunity to have a really deep dive into one specific thing where we're all standing hand in hand about how to have these conversations. And I was hesitant at first, and Ariane and I have had conversations. We've presented at ACDA about issues of race and choral music and getting uncomfortable to get comfortable, and I feel like I still have a lot more work to do. So at first I was like, I don't know if I'm the person to do this. I don't know if I should be doing this, but I plan to be really vulnerable about some of the struggles that I've had and what I've learned and what I continue to learn to elevate different voices in the choral field.
That's so important. I think you hit the nail on the head in that it can be an awkward or difficult conversation to broach. Everyone is touchy, everyone's fearful of being judged, everyone's still in the learning process, but it takes brave people to just be the first ones to dive into it and open up the conversation for everybody else. And so I thank you, and I'm so excited to welcome you to your first Bump and Not Broken. You're going to have an amazing time, and know that you already have at least 3 friends right here that will help continue, and just be the opening point for your conference experience. And so, Ariane, just a follow-up question. I'd love to hear your perspective on Dr. Paul Key's the conversations that you guys have had, and you kind of already touched on it, but the concept of work, you've developed that into kind of the trifecta of, work and how we approach this work in 3 different ways. Can you share that with everyone?
Yes. And Josh and I, as Josh mentioned, have presented a number of times about specifically about racial equity, and then also just how do we even create a framework to have conversations? Because a lot of times, we aren't really taught how to have real and meaningful conversations. It doesn't matter what the subject is, whether it's about money, whether it's about race and ethnicity, whether it's about conflict. We just aren't taught really how to have dialogue. We mostly have conversation, but we need to elevate conversation to dialogue. And so that really inspired a new framework, which I call the 3 works framework, particularly when we're looking at doing work in equity and justice. But that's doing our self work. So beginning with ourself, looking internally before we begin to look externally, taking an inventory of our own beliefs and thoughts and where we might want to go and how our own lived experiences are shaping our perspectives. Then there is homework. So that phase that we go in when we're learning, when we're trying to get it right. Maybe you're attending Bent But Not Broken. Maybe you are reading some articles or going to church with a friend and really trying to learn the style or something like that. And then there's the hard work. That's like, okay, what are we actually going to do to move the needle? And like, how do we take this beyond just knowledge, practical knowledge theory, but how do we actually do the hard work that is necessary for us to move forward meaningfully and with intention? And so everything with this conference is around that 3 work, the self-work, homework, and hard work. And so you'll be able to see the sessions, like, is this a session that's going to help with hard work or homework or self-work? And so Dr. Palki is going to be on a panel, which I think is going to be one of the most, if not the most important conversation there, which is, what does it mean to be an ally? And what does it mean to go from being an ally to an accomplice, right? Because allyship in the end is not the destination, but how do we join this work with our brothers and sisters and siblings as we continue to move forward? So I really love that work. And some of the other things that I'm particularly interested in this Bent But Not Broken conference with both the work of Dr. Palki and with Kimberly Waigwa is, how do we begin to look at the intersectional nature of what we do, right? People are not only just Black who are in our choirs or African American, but they might be African American and queer. They might be Black and a lesbian, Black and trans. And how do these intersecting identities, how do they create a unique experience for those individuals who we are welcoming into our choral spaces? So I'm really excited about Josh's participation here, because he has so much lived experience and research in this area, particularly with working with LGBTQIA plus singers. And so we're happy to add this new dynamic into it as well.
Ariane, as you were talking, it's so funny. Before you even mentioned Kimberly Waigwa, I was thinking about when we had our last conversation here on live, and Kimberly brought up the idea of otherness and how that tends to just kind of be the default feeling at these kinds of events, but not at Bent But Not Broken, and that was Kimberly's favorite thing about Bent But Not Broken.
Mm-hmm.
And so to me, that idea is so perfectly linked with what you said about conversation and dialogue. And it's true, more and more, because of, the political scene in our country, or there's so many reasons, but we just continue to become more and more polarized. And I think it's almost like an extension of this cancel culture, where it's easier to say, well, I don't want to talk about that. I'm not comfortable with it. Like, I'll think what I think, and let's just agree to disagree. And, that's what it is. And you kind of throw your hands up. And what I love about Bent But Not Broken is it's literally the opposite of that. Everyone comes to the table with an open mind and with open hearts and with the best of intentions to really try to understand one another through conversation, through these sessions, by sharing information, by sharing their perspectives. And it really is the important time, quality time and effort, dedicated, energy and just pouring into one another as human beings that I don't think we do enough of. So that's my passionate call and cry out to all of the people in our field who might still be on the fence about whether or not it's worth taking the time off, making the trip, and actually going to the conference. It absolutely is worth it. And out of these conversations and experiences, you're going to leave with, a really fresh feeling and a renewed hope in the people around you and in our field and in the world, because it's just the kind of people who attend this conference. I know friendships of mine, like with Maria and with you, Ariane, and I'm sure with you too, Josh, after this 3.0, they're deep and they're meaningful because we go to that level in these sessions and outside of them. So please, please, please come. And in that spirit of getting to know one another and coming to a deeper level of understanding, Josh, I'd like to ask you if you can expand on these concepts that Ariane brought up of the importance of allyship and accompliceship, and just maybe give us an entry point to what you and the rest of the panel will be discussing in that session.
Yeah, I think the you set it up perfectly just now, and with everything being very heated and very divided, it's very exactly like you said. It's easy to just throw up your hands and say like, well, this conversation makes me uncomfortable, so therefore I won't have it, right? But if you do that, you're really denying yourself an opportunity to grow, right? Because they call it growing pains for a reason, right? I mean, every time that I'm uncomfortable, that means I'm growing in some way, that I have more work to do, that I have more to learn. So I think it's such an important conversation. For example, I've had a lot of fear about having these conversations in the past, and I've had a lot of fears, especially around programming. And so I've been very afraid, in particular, to program spirituals with my predominantly white choirs, being a white cis choral director. And I saw a session last year at NCCO where Dr. Nicole Davis from just down the road in Tucson was really blunt about the fact that, like, if sort of speaking to exactly to me, I felt, because she said, if you're too afraid to program this music, you're denying your singers the opportunity to experience this rich musical culture and an important yet incredibly problematic part of our American history, right? In our American musical history. And so, that was an uncomfortable moment for me, but I grew, right? And I was like, wow, that's a message that I really needed. So, to me, allyship is very much about listening. And I love that. I think Ariane used the word partnering. I forget who it was, like partnering in the work, right? Because I don't want to, I don't like, I know, I realize the immense amount of privilege that I have. And I don't want to come in and say like, this is what we should be doing, right? I want to listen and really hear, and then say, how can I help? Like, how can I use these layers of privilege that I have to help out, right? And this idea of moving from allyship, which is important and a necessary first step, but moving that beyond to say, okay, that's great, you're an ally. Now, how are we going to get into the work? How are we going to make actual change? And that's what I'm really excited about, right? And I'm excited that these conversations are actually happening, because I think that these are kind of conversations that you would not have at a typical choral conference. So I'm very excited to be part of it.
Well, thank you for sharing your story about your own hesitations about programming. I think from being at previous conferences, that's a point that I've heard brought up in a lot of sessions. And it's one of, I think, the main takeaways for attendees of Bent But Not Broken is that they can be open and honest about their fears and also then become educated on how to properly approach that repertoire. And a lot of the sessions are geared exactly towards that, as well as the performances. We have all of this amazing variety and diversity in the groups that we're going to be hearing in concerts throughout the conference. And that also, by example, gets to show everyone exactly what everyone is capable of. All kinds of different choirs can perform music written by, Black musicians. Speaking of which, we have a little video to show you and excite you about those performances. So take a look. Goosebumps. Oh, I'm so excited for this year's performances. So, guys, we're just about to wrap our call. And before we do, I would love to know, just short and sweet from each of you, what are you most excited about for this year's Bent But Not Broken? Let's start with you, Maria.
I'm excited to see everybody. I love conferences because they always feel like a big family reunion. So I'm excited to see everybody that I do know and then all those that I don't know so I can welcome them into my family as well.
What about you, Dr. Paul Key? What are you most excited about?
Yeah, absolutely. Connecting with people and really engaging with this music in a variety of ways. Although after this call, maybe the sneaker ball, because that's something I didn't know about. So I'm super excited about that.
Dr. Paul Key, ready to party? Yes. Ariana, what are you most excited about?
Oh my, there's just so much to be excited about. I think I am excited most the people. Like the people are brilliant. Like, my goal is to constantly continue to surround myself with people who are smarter and more talented. And every year I feel like the game gets higher and higher and higher and higher because the people who make this conference possible are incredible. So if you're on the fence, I am talking to you absolutely right now and looking you in the eye. If you are on the fence, if you are wondering, can I program that spiritual? If you are concerned about appropriation, if you teach any students of color, if you plan to teach any students of color, if you've ever wondered, how can I be culturally responsive in my classroom? this is the conference for you. I assure you that not only will you leave with much more knowledge, you will leave full of joy. And you will feel restored after this conference. I always feel, I'm tired afterwards, don't get me wrong. I'm feeling a little bit and broken myself, but I always feel renewed after these conferences. I always feel absolutely renewed. So you belong here. And so we would love to see you.
And bring
Come
it to
on
the
out.
room.
It's not too late to register. Come join us. It's going to be a party. It's going to be a place of learning, a place of dialogue, a place to party, a place to make new friends and new colleagues. I can vouch for that. We are all proof of the inspiration and of the power that happens at Bent But Not Broken. We'll see you there October 23rd through 26th. If you need any more inspiration, just watch our last video clip. And we'll see you there.
When it's all over, yeah, I shall see. I shall